7 Minutes by Dean Lewis can either be played tuned down a half step or capoed, and I'll show you both ways to play it. I'm going to start with detuning a half step though, because this is the way the sound is getting achieved on the recorded version, so I want to show you how to sound exactly like the recorded version first. Your 6th string gets detuned to a D sharp. Your 5th string gets detuned to a G sharp. Your 4th string gets detuned to a C sharp. Your 3rd string gets detuned to an F sharp. Your 2nd string gets detuned to an A sharp. And your 1st string gets detuned to a D sharp. So whenever we play an E major chord formation, this is actually a D sharp major. Okay, let me show you first the patterns, or the chords rather, that the intro will be taking place on and the verse will be taking place on, and then I'll show you the picking pattern, the finger picking pattern, because it is finger picked. The first chord will be a version of an E chord. The way that I'm making this is I'm actually going to put my first finger down on the 5th string 2nd fret, ring finger down on the 4th string 4th fret, and pinky finger down on the 3rd string 4th fret, and I'm going to let the low 6th string ring out. So just to let you hear the tone of the chord, I'm plucking down with my thumb on the 6th string and plucking up with my 1st and 2nd fingers on strings 3 and 4. In the opening chord, you don't want for the 5th string to ring out. It's just 6, 4, and 3. The 2nd chord will be a B chord, in which you do want for the 5th string to ring out, where you've got your 1st finger fretted. That's the 2nd chord. I'm plucking 5, 4, and 3 strings, still fretted the same way that I originally showed you. And then the 3rd chord will be to move your 1st finger from the 5th string 2nd fret to the 6th string 2nd fret. And your ring and pinky fingers are going to remain there, fretting what they've been fretting. These notes are going to be acting like a drone. So here's the picking pattern. The way that I'm doing that is, let me first show you in the E chord formation. I'm going thumb on the 6th string, 1st finger on the 4th string, and 2nd finger on the 3rd string always. Now let me tell you the pattern in which I'm plucking my thumb 1st and 2nd fingers. I'm going thumb, 1st, thumb, 2nd, thumb, 1st, thumb, 2nd, just over and over again. Thumb, 1st, thumb, 2nd, thumb, 1st, thumb, 2nd. And you get into a roll. And that's what you're doing in the E chord. And really that's all that the E chord holds for, and then you immediately move your thumb plucking to the 5th string to enunciate the D note. And the picking pattern remains the same, with your 1st and 2nd fingers on strings 4 and 3, and your thumb now picking on the 5th string, thumb 1st, thumb 2nd, thumb 1st, thumb 2nd, and then you move your 1st finger to the 6th string 2nd fret. And you do the exact same thing. It just repeats that roll over and over. Occasionally, like every 3rd time, instead of returning back to the E, it jumps up to this minor right here. The way that you're going to execute that is you will go with your 2nd finger to the 6th string 4th fret and keep the same finger picking pattern with your right hand. And that sounds like before returning back to the E. So sometimes it's just E, B, and F sharp, and then sometimes it's E, B, F sharp, up to G sharp, back down to E. Whenever it gets to the back half of the verse, the order of the chords change, and it goes E, F sharp, and then G sharp. Same picking pattern, it's just now you're going to go E, and then instead of to the D, you move your 1st finger to the 6th string 2nd fret, and then with your 2nd finger go to the 6th string 4th fret, and then it comes back down to the 6th string 2nd fret. It does that like 2 times. And then it goes into a bit of a pre-chorus, which is going to be an E chord. And the way that I make this E chord now is you can either just accentuate the 6th note while holding your fingers into this B position, or you can make an actual E chord either this way with your 2nd finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, ring finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, 1st finger on the 3rd string 1st fret, with everything else ringing out. Or sometimes I just make a large E power chord. So open 6th string, use your 1st finger to fret the 2nd frets of strings 5 and 4, and then pinky finger goes down on fret 4 of string 3, open 1st and 2nd strings. That would be the first chord of the pre-chorus. The second chord would be a G sharp minor. The way that I'm making that is I'm putting my ring finger on the 5th string 6th fret, pinky finger on the 4th string 6th fret, 1st finger on the 3rd string 4th fret, and then I'm grabbing with my thumb the 6th string 4th fret. Or you might be able to just leave your thumb off altogether and it will still sound okay if you don't hit too much of that 6th string in the bass. And then the third chord of the pre-chorus will be an F sharp major. The way that you do this is you put your 1st finger on the 6th string 2nd fret, ring finger on the 5th string 4th fret, pinky finger on the 4th string 4th fret, and then 2nd finger on the 3rd string 3rd fret. That's the pre-chorus. Whenever it gets to the chorus, it is E, F sharp major, G sharp minor. And this part really doesn't sound that good in the detune version. It really kind of feels and sounds better to play that part capoed, so you'll hear that whenever we get to that portion of the tutorial. Then finally, the bridge is going to be an E, and then B, F sharp, and then G sharp minor, E, and then B, F sharp, and then G sharp minor, E. And those are the chords to the bridge before it returns to the chorus of E, F sharp major, G sharp minor. Okay, so let me show you how to play this with the capo. I am still in a detuned position, so I'm capoing on the 4th fret to get this. But if you've not retuned your guitar, you would be capoing instead on the 3rd fret. Okay, so if you capo 3rd fret in standard tuning, you'll be doing the same things that I'm doing here, and I'm going to speak relative to the capo, so the fact that we're in real terms playing on different frets shouldn't matter. The intro is going to be, for this version, it will be C, G, and then D. The way that you play the C is I'm putting my ring finger on the 5th string 3rd fret relative to the capo, 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, open 3rd string, 1st finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and you'll have the same picking pattern that I discussed earlier of thumb 1st, thumb 2nd, except for now it's occurring on strings, 5, 4, and 3. And disclaimer, this is not going to sound exactly like the album because we're changing the voicings of the chords. So don't be upset if what you're doing right here doesn't sound exactly like the recorded version, because there's no way to actually make it sound just like the recorded version without detuning and playing in the E-shaped formations from earlier. Anyway, the chords here are going to be a C chord to a G chord. After the C, move your ring finger to the 6th string 3rd fret and 2nd finger to the 5th string 2nd fret. And your picking pattern can happen on strings 6, 4, and 3. And then the third chord for the verses and intro will be this version of a D chord. Put your ring finger to the 5th string 5th fret. Your 2nd finger will go to the 4th string 4th fret. You'll have an open 3rd string, and your 1st finger will go to the 2nd string 3rd fret. Same picking pattern with your right hand, but now it's happening on strings 5, 4, and 3. So the verse chords will be C, G, and D, essentially. C, G, and D. Whenever we get to the back end of the verses, the chords change to C, E minor, and D. The only new chord here is the E minor. The way that you're going to make it is an open 6th string, and then 2nd and ring fingers fretting strings 5 and 4 on the 2nd fret, everything else open. And then the same D chord from before. In this D chord, I'm treating it like a 4-fingered C chord, just slid up 2 frets. So I've got my ring finger on the 6th string 5th fret, pinky finger on the 5th string 5th fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string 4th fret, open 3rd string, 1st finger on the 2nd string 3rd fret, open 1st string. So we'll go C, E minor, D, and then kind of resolves back to the C. Whenever we get to the chorus for this, the chords to the chorus in this chord shape will be C, slide up to the D, and then down to the E minor. C, D, E minor. And the strumming pattern for it would just be, I'm kind of going down, up, 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 down. Finally, the chords to the bridge in this chord shape formation will be C, G, D, E minor, C, G, D, E minor, C. And those are the chords to 7 Minutes by Dean Lewis. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to approach the song.